Your biggest fear came true. The thing that you wanted to avoid the most. Maybe you wanted to manifest a relationship with somebody and you were really into them, and suddenly, just as you think you're getting closer and just as you think it's done, they ghost you. Or you were waiting to get a specific job or a promotion, but then they give it to somebody else. Let's talk about how to stop manifesting what you don't want. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Lorena. I'm a somatic self-concept and manifestation coach, and I support women to change their self-concept, to embody a new state of being sustainably so that you can manifest anything that you desire in your life. We're essentially bridging the gap between who you currently are or perceive yourself as and who you desire to be or become. If you like this type of content, then please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. And leave a little like to boost the algorithm, or just share this video with a friend if you enjoy it. And I also invite you to check out the links in the description box below, because you can find a bunch of free resources there to support you in changing your self-concept, whether you're at the beginning of your journey or whether you've been on a manifestation journey for a while and you're looking for a more holistic and sustainable approach, so you can get what you want and also make it last and feel amazing in the process. If you want to dive even deeper than that and you want to work with me or get coached by me, then you can absolutely also check out my signature coaching program, Recreate Yourself, which is also linked in the description. And if you have any questions about anything at all at any point, then please send me a DM on Instagram. I am so open and available to chatting with you. So let's dive in. Okay, so raise your hand if you've ever set the intention to manifest something, or you began to work on manifesting something, and what happened? The exact thing you did not want came through instead. Your biggest fear came true. The thing that you wanted to avoid the most. Maybe you wanted to manifest a relationship with somebody and you were really into them, and suddenly, just as you think you're getting closer and just as you think it's done, they ghost you. Or you were waiting to get a specific job or a promotion, but then they give it to somebody else. The thing is that the more you're trying to avoid something, the more likely it is for it to happen. What you resist persists. That's because the moment you resist something, your consciousness is focused on it. You're not trying to focus on it, but trying not to do something makes you do it, even if that's completely unconscious. The other aspect is things always exist in duality. So if you want to experience love, you need to be able to contain the fear. You need to be able to be with the fear. If you want joy and peace, you need to embrace anger and chaos. You always need to be able to hold both realities. If you want to avoid a feeling or an experience, which if we desire something, there is always an opposite that we want to avoid, that we don't want. It's a natural consequence. If you desire a relationship, you want to not be single. That's the natural result, right? But if you want to avoid a feeling or an experience, life or God will give you the gift of that exact experience. And sometimes that's what you need, just to experience the contrast, just to get even more clear on what it is that you do want. And sometimes it just teaches you that you can actually get through it, that you can survive the thing that you didn't think you'd survive. It's also why patterns persist until you actually integrate and embody new beliefs fully, embody a new self-concept fully. Until then, you will get the lesson. The same lesson will repeat until it's fully integrated. So if you continue to experience the same lesson, it just means it's not fully integrated. Let's talk about how to stop manifesting what you don't want. Because while sometimes it's good for life to show you what it actually feels like to experience your fear, we don't really want that, do we? It would be much nicer not to have to go through that, so that you can actually manifest without having to experience the opposite. And there is a way to do that. And one thing that you need to do for that is to face your fears. because they will only stop manifesting once you truly face them. If you're still manifesting unwanted things, it just means the fear isn't integrated. You haven't truly faced it. The self-concept that you want to live from isn't fully embodied. And if you're questioning whether it's fully integrated or whether you've actually faced your fear to the extent that you need to, your external reality will show you. You won't need to push or force for it to happen. Your external reality is a perfect mirror of what's going on in your subconscious. Now, facing your fears is difficult. I get it. You don't want to look at it because it's very, very uncomfortable. And you also probably don't really know how. Now I'm going to tell you how not to sit with your fears and emotions. It's definitely not about pretending they're not there, because, then you're resisting it, and what you resist persists. We talked about this one. It's also not about wallowing in them, because then, of course, your focus is even more on it, and then it's also more likely to manifest. It truly is about integrating them fully. Now, I have a process for this that I teach my clients and that I guide them through. And I will say it is more difficult to do it on your own. It's possible. It's possible, and I teach my clients how to do it on their own too, but it's definitely easier if you're held in it because the emotions can be so hard. Like, facing your greatest fears can be so challenging to really be with and have the capacity for. But that's what you need to do. You need to fully integrate the fears. You need to fully process it. And if you're wondering, well, how do I know whether I've done that? You will feel it. It will stop being there. It will stop bothering you. It will not trigger you anymore. And your reality will not show it to you anymore. You won't question, and the patterns will stop repeating. Your fears will not manifest anymore, or that particular fear. That's done, and that's how you know. If you're wondering whether something is fully integrated, it's most likely not, because you wouldn't be asking that question if it was. Changing your self-concept really requires you to dismantle your old one first. You can't just say, I'm now this new person, without facing what is still alive in you. And that includes facing the fears that are attached to the old or current self-concept. So remember that. Only when you fully integrate the fears, you fully face them, you fully integrate them, you get to the core of your patterns and belief systems. And that does not mean conceptually. That does not mean you need to know where exactly they came from or where it originated. That is actually not necessary. It's more about the actual processing and the integration of the emotional charge. Only then will your reality stop giving you that lesson. Let me know if you ever manifested something that you didn't want. Share your story in the comments, or if it's a bit too vulnerable to share, then you can also DM me on Instagram. Don't be shy, I want to hear it, and I'll see you in next week's video.